Well, I wouldn't have thought it. I wouldn't have thought it even after reading it. Well, you live and learn. It says here on this apparently well-known website that the study of purple emperors can be quite addictive. I have no idea what the bloke means, but he's right. It is. Now, for the first time in what seems like weeks, it's not the best of days. We've had a few glimpses of sun and it's very nice when the sun comes out, but it's predominantly cloudy. So what I've started to do today, I thought I'd just have an hour looking for purple emperor eggs. We know eggs have been found because Nick and Samantha Brownlee found the first ones here at Sherwood yesterday, found 3 on the very first tree that they started to look on. I've tried a couple of trees already. I'm in another part of the forest and I've just found my first egg, and it's about 8 foot off the ground. And it's there. And here is the egg. I'll try and hold this steady. It's typically situated. Female purple emperors position their egg. It's not a haphazard process by any means, and they always place the egg midway or roughly midway between the midrib of the leaf and the outer edge. But from the eggs I've seen, it's usually slightly favoured towards the outer edge of the leaf. Now this egg was laid on a leaf that was lying horizontally, which also seems to be quite a key factor, but I've only basing that on a few eggs that I've actually found. This egg has been laid for at least several days. Initially the eggs are dark green, but then they become lighter and the lower third of the egg becomes a beautiful sort of burgundy colour, and you can probably just make that out there now. It's just a shame about the breezy conditions, but you get the idea, and at least you can see the emperor's egg. Lovely. It's important that we continue to monitor eggs and larvae throughout the autumn and then through the winter and early spring. And it's important that sallows, particular sallows, because this sallow produced 1 larva last year, and it's important that we know which trees are being used, and hopefully we can dissuade management from cutting them down at any time or becoming victim of unscrupulous management by contractors. So here's a purple emperor egg on a tree in its 2nd year of use. And unbelievably, the very next branch that I've pulled down after just filming that segment and that first egg, there is this. There's a second purple emperor egg, and as you can see, it's directly placed between the midrib of the leaf and the outer edge. It's also 2-toned. There's every chance that this was laid within minutes of that one I've just showed you. So 2 purple emperor eggs within a couple of feet of each other, both obviously on the eastern side of the tree and about 8 feet off the ground. Well, I've had a good, although fruitless, walk round from Clipston Court around through by Blackpool, checked an assortment of varying goat sallows and working my way back round. And where I'm stood now, there's a group of young sallows that are found earlier on this year, and I always fancied them to have L3 larvae on, which is the larva at the stage it is when it goes through hibernation and wakes up in spring. And I checked a couple of these trees earlier this year to no avail, but I've just come back round again, and amazingly there's an egg on this thin straggly bit of goat sallow that I'm stood next to. Now this egg is considerably higher than the other two that I found earlier, but thankfully this one stemmed quite thin sallow, the actual stem of this sallow is no more than 2 inches thick at the very most, right at the base. This is in prime position to be chopped at some time, but the egg is at least sort of 12 foot off the ground, and thankfully I've been able to bring this sallow down with the section with the egg on it, and it's on this here. If I bring this section into view here, and the egg is on this leaf here, look, again it's between the midrib and the edge of the leaf, and just that little bit nearer the edge of the leaf. It's also two-toned, so yet again it's been laid at least a week. The butterflies have certainly been out earlier than what we thought, and certainly what the first records here suggested. But the pleasing thing about this is that this is a completely new area. It's right on the edge of the forest at Clipston Old Quarter here, and there's a field not 20-30 yards from where I'm stood now. So this egg is especially pleasing. Now I don't expect any purple emperor eggs on this particular bit. They are fairly easy to see, but painstaking process. If you don't have patience, don't bother looking for purple emperor eggs. And this is, some blokes might scream sexist at me, but in my experience, women are far better at this kind of work than blokes. Why do I say that? Women have far more patience than blokes. Blokes can't wait to find them and sometimes skim over in a cursory glance. Women are far more thorough. Dilys certainly was, and Dilys for her life, she was incredibly adept and patient at finding things, even if it took hours. Men don't have that patience. But it's just a case of going over the foliage. Now they're not usually on these long growths from the current year. They're more likely to be on the smaller leaves, the less glossy leaves, and the leaves on the smaller side shoots. But it's all about just working your way through the branches, and obviously not pulling the tree over so much as it snaps. And quite often they're not usually at the end here. Or, yeah, lights on here, they'll be tucked in quite often, in my brief experience, but learning from Nick and Samantha Brownlee, it's the best sort of way to look. But whatever you do, you need to be thorough if you intend on looking for purple emperor eggs. Well, I'm nearly back to the car, but just looking at this sallow, this is tucked away. I've walked past this many times and not even seen it. But it's nicely shaded and sheltered by the trees around it. It's ideal for purple emperors laying. But to check it remains the target of another day. I'm quite happy finding the 3 purple emperor eggs. Now that might not sound much at all, it might indeed sound a very paltry total for a couple of hours or so wandering around and checking the branches and the leaves for a tiny 1mm or so high egg, but 3 is a good count. There are many naturalists and entomologists out there that's never even seen a purple emperor egg. But the best bit of this couple of hours is finding purple emperor egg in a new area, in a new tree, and I've been in contact with Nick and Samantha Brownlee, and they've been doing the same thing in another part of Sherwood Forest. They found several eggs and even witnessed a female egg laying. So until another day.